woman, you're saying that you think there's a place for example, the wife to handcuff the husband.
That's a long years ago, Bishop. That's not just content. That's outdated. I'm saying people going further than that.
Different forms now. Welcome to the New Foundation Christian Ministries, B1 Marriage Ministry video podcast. I'm your host, Donald McFarlane, Senior Pastor of the New Foundation Christian Ministry Church, here at shop number 21, Washington Plaza, Kingston, Jamaica. And I'm very happy to have on set again my co-host.
I am Natalie Irving Mattox, the Director for Training and Counseling at the New Foundation Christian Ministries.
Thank you so much, Natalie. It's always great to be with you on the set. And I'm sure Mark will not have a problem in me saying how my son would say you look ravishing.
Thank you, sir.
But there you go. We have been talking about communication as a critical component in a successful marriage.
Yes.
So the more you talk, it's more likely, in a good way,
yes,
that you will be able to build a good relationship and take it from there. Last time we had good conversation. Incidentally, the reports have been very encouraging.
Yes.
But certainly we want to take it a little further this time. Mm-hmm. I remember clearly as we spoke about, tone in a communication.
Right.
We spoke about how you communicate when you're angry.
Mm-hmm.
Can we take it a little further here, Natalie, and speak to, is there a place for nonverbal communication that helps in strengthening the marital relationship? What say you?
Yes, I think that there is a place for it. I think that apart from, the fact that we can speak back to each other and tone and so on, there are other things such as gesticulation. There are things such as if somebody is upset, talking might not be the solution at that time. I know for some men, they might make you so mad that, like I know for me, when I'm upset with my husband, he knows. So to come now, sometimes I'm not in the mood to maybe talk about it, or you know what I mean, to express myself in that way, or he might not feel like expressing himself in that way. So I know that he will perhaps do other things to show that he's perhaps sorry. And I learned to appreciate some of those nonverbal cues.
Well, there you go. What it introduces right here is that, especially for those who have come to believe that traditionally, men are, less effective in communicating, that there are some nonverbal things that speaks to how appreciative the man is of his woman. For example, he takes the initiative to wash the car.
Yes.
As a nonverbal way of saying, yeah, I love you. Or to even offer gifts to you, not as a makeup, just as an initiative. So there's a sense in which you're agreeing, I'm asking, that a man can express himself in nonverbal ways that is speaking to how much he feels about you as a woman.
Yes.
Is that acceptable?
It is. And just to kind of pull back a bit, as we even look at the whole issue of communicating how you feel about your spouse, I know for some men, they struggle with telling a woman that they love them. It might be a little easier for a woman to do that. But I know for some men, they tend not to say, I love you the way you expect them to. But some of them will tell you, I might not say it, but I show it. And sometimes that nonverbal of showing love is perhaps even more important than saying that I love you. Because anybody can say it.
I can and do believe what you're saying, since clearly you come from a place of understanding and experience. But in talking to many women, Natalie, I get the distinct feeling that those things are done, the car washing, the toenail cutting, the gifts giving.
Yes.
But they still want to hear those immortal words.
Yes, they do. But I'm just saying there are some, you can appreciate it sometimes, even if they don't necessarily say. If a man doesn't tell you every day that he loves you,
Yes.
it's important though for him to show that love every day.
But
in nonverbal, in nonverbal.
But let
way.
us see if we have a grasp on that. I understand you and us saying non-verbally, he can express that, but I still want to ask, is there still not the place where the man must learn? It may not be 7 days a week,
Yes.
28, 29 days, 30 or 31 days per month. But is there not a place for him to learn, to at least look his wife in her eyes and say, baby, I love you?
Yes, and I do appreciate that. But I'm saying there are some men who can't necessarily do that, but they can show it.
Yes.
Just like you were saying, I mean, so I remember from past experience with Mark and I remember I used to say that you're very rarely you will say out of your mouth, I love you. And he would say, but you know that I show you that I love you every day. I said, yes, I still want to hear it because of course, the verbal communication is also important. So I think a combination of both is what we need as women.
Very well. But not to labor the point, because there's a sense it may be speaking to the extreme, but there are some of us men who just find it almost impossible to say, I love you.
And why? Why is it so
Well,
hard?
it could go back to orientation. They were never hugged as boys.
Okay.
They were never told, that they are loved. It's just like it's a feminine thing.
Oh, it's the same issue of
they work hard,
expression.
they support their spouse and family, they will protect them, but they're just not vocal in those ways. You think we should include this in the premarital counseling manual where you teach them to talk? Say I love you.
I think so, because that, to be honest with you, Bishop, if you don't tell a woman that you love her, it's as if, even if you're showing it, if you're giving her the money, the gifts, if you're doing things, she still wants to hear it from you, hearing it. And maybe that's why, because sometimes it's the things that you consider probably less important.
Yes.
That means a lot. So sometimes just a simple word of I love you is important.
Yes.
So I'm going back to the point. Yes, it's the nonverbal is there and it's important, but you want to hear from the horse's mouth how you feel. You want the expression of love.
I am concurring with you, Natalie. I can sense sometimes a elation on the part of my wife when I take time out to say that to her. In a good tone.
And don't she give you a sweet smile?
Oh, she feels
Lord,
sweet
always she
about
was
that.
upset.
Praise
It's
Jesus.
like she no longer upset. It's true.
Yes.
Yes, it's something about that, you know?
But on the flip side, though, Natalie, I think apart from the man being vocal, there's also the place for the woman to be perceptive of the nonverbal things.
Yes.
And give them the ratings of what they are worth.
I agree. Yes, I agree.
But tell me then now, that's a man's nonverbal way of giving some gifts and doing chores and so on. How women communicate in nonverbal ways that we should appreciate and allow it to ensure the strengthening and the growth of our communication and consequently our marriage.
Yes. Well, I think women are strong on the verbal, right? But I think we also do similar things, the things that we do for men, we cook, we clean, we wash, we take care of your clothes, we dress for you.
Dress for me?
Model.
Model.
For you, we want to look good in front of you, and men love that.
Yes.
And a lot of other things that, women will do, ensure that you're satisfied in every single way.
Yes.
And, we're very respectful just by our own demeanor. Those are nonverbal communication that I think men generally appreciate.
Yes. So, I I am thinking as I speak to you now that it is good to hear my wife saying, I love you. I can appreciate that.
Yes.
But I don't know that I necessarily place that kind of premium on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes. So there are things that she does, you know, sometimes a sacrifice that she makes.
Exactly.
I think those things just make
Right.
big points for the man.
Yes.
Well,
true.
Well, wanting to transition a bit. Well, actually, I won't go in any detail, but Gary Chapman in his 5 love languages speaks very much about how you, I believe, identify love and help to
Yes.
grow love, and perhaps as we discuss communication, but perhaps another time we can, look at what
that.
Gary is looking at.
Yes.
But
There are some important things that I like from that book.
yes, but the other thing that I'd like for us to look at, and you more so need to speak to me and to us, is this question of how important is communication in intimacy?
Oh dear. Well, this one is sweet
It's
because yeah, man, I think especially for let me tell you, I think men love this more than even women, you know, Bishop. A man like, especially during intimacy, when a woman, I mean, oftentimes we say stroke egos, but I think when you're most vulnerable sometimes is when you're intimate. And that's when you'll want to talk to your spouse some more. You'll let him know when it feels good. You let him know if it's
further,
yes.
Because you know I want to learn. Now the statement you say when you are most vulnerable, what? That's when you are more intimate. Did you say something like that?
Yes, when you're intimate, that's when you're sometimes most vulnerable.
You want to amplify that a little bit.
Yes, because that's when you tend to let down your guard. A lot of times, you know, you find the softer side of women comes out, you know, and you're a little bit more, even more expressive during that time. And even for men too, I find some men can be very expressive during that time. I mean, I've heard women talk about how their husband, their spouse, their partner talk to them when they are intimate.
Yes.
And so even when they can't, on normal circumstances, you're having a conversation, they might not say I love you.
Yes.
During intimacy, sometimes when some men can tell you that, they love you. Yes.
They find speech.
That's when they find speech.
Talking a lot.
Sweet them.
No, listen to me. No. So Natalie, you are saying it is. Are you saying it's something that should be cultured? It is important to be expressive verbally. That is.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
it is important, and it also, and it, to me, during intimacy, when you're talking back to each other, you know exactly what the person like. You know exactly what to do, whether or not you're pleasing or satisfying your spouse during that time. If you're not talking, then people can't read your mind. You know, so you have to be able to say to your spouse, yes, honey, this feels good. Yes, stop here or continue or, you know, hold back in order for it to be pleasurable and for people to enjoy themselves. We can also look at even before you actually go into sex sometimes. Because intimacy is not just the bedroom, but those texts before, and so speaking to each other before, maybe on the phone. You know, so those things are, trust me, you go crazy by the time you get home sometimes.
What are you saying to me, Natalie? Well, this is rather interesting. So you know, we come from a church background, and sometimes, you know, I've had in my own experience growing up in the country as I did, that the only reason why I believed that some wife and husbands were ever intimate is because they had children.
Right.
But their saintly look, I don't know if it's a case where I should not judge a book by its cover, but their saintly look, you know, and there was no expression, demonstration of affection. in the open space. I am not saying I know what goes on behind closed doors, but these things are not talked about.
Yes.
You are saying that in today's, if not before, Christian church, that we need to be educated, that communication goes beyond just speaking English and talking about how to fix the lawnmower and those things.
Yes.
And to really speak to each other softly and nicely in the exchange in the bedroom. You're saying that?
Yes, I'm saying that. In the bedroom and before you get to the bedroom.
What does that do for the persons?
To me, it gives a lot of, it brings sparks and excitement. To your love life.
Yes.
You know, it encourages your spouse and even you.
Yes.
You know that yes, you know you're still having vigor and vitality. You're still, even sometimes a man will you know you text your wife and you say, baby, you look good, you know.
Yes.
You know what that does to a woman, Bishop?
Wow.
What?
Yes.
She's ready for you. Ready for you, I'm telling you. It does a lot to a woman.
Yes.
As well as a man. You know, when you say, honey, you're looking great. You know, so even, which is what I'm saying, that intimacy is not just about the bedroom.
Yes.
But, you know, being able to talk to each other in, you know, even sexually before you get home, talk, you know, just sharing.
It accentuates.
It really adds a lot of value to your and amplifies your sex life.
Exclamation.
Yeah. It is.
Take it to a new dimension.
Yeah.
And that is a missing dimension if you are not communicating in your intimate times.
Exactly.
You are saying that helps in people's marriage.
It does. And I want to also add, Bishop, especially in this time, you like to talk about us being conservative. But let me bring you over to the contemporary world. Right. You know, there are a lot of people now into the whole bondage and handcuffing, and I know we don't want to talk about these things, but this is real life. You know, we have a lot of young people like in our church.
Yes.
And so people know what's happening. Social media is there. Everybody knows what's happening.
Right.
So even, you know, and people have those safe words, you know, into choking. People have safe words. They're going, you know, stop it, amber for whether or not you're pause. For amber for pause,
but wait,
stop, red for stop. So people have safe words even within that exchange.
So help me here, Natalie. I know we don't have all the time in the world to go through all of this, but you are saying that there are such sexual exchanges.
Yes.
That people describe as bondage.
Yes, of course.
What do you mean by that?
No, bondage meaning they tie up each other, you know, some Yes, I'm saying that you have those what people may consider to be a little bit more on the extreme side.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that even within that, people have to be open and ensure that there's communication in their sex life. Yes. Because I'm saying people experience different things or want to experience different things. And there are a lot of people who are into bondage and tying up and handcuffing. What I'm saying that they even come up with safe words that they can use to communicate even during those times.
Right, and the safe words now is to sort of preventing the spouse from going beyond
a certain point. Yeah, because you're not going to kill off each other.
And you are saying as a Christian woman, you're saying that you think there's a place for example, a wife to handcuff the husband.
That's a long years ago, Bishop. That's not just content. That's outdated. I'm saying people going further than that.
Forms now. Natalie, you did say that you come sizzling to talk the things, because this program is not just geared for the weak heart and the conservative, but it does really bring us on the cutting edge.
Yes, that's right.
After all, in the final analysis, we are saying that people need to enjoy themselves.
That's right.
In the marital union.
That's right.
Look at that. There's more to come. When can you ever sleep or even take a break? When you have Natalie Irvin Mattox talking from deep within. There are some people say, me not ball out. We have to hold it like that until another time.
Right.
This is Donald McFarlane, your host of this B1 Marriage Ministry video podcast. Mark Mattox, your fitness center. We thank you for sponsoring.
Yes.
And we always have to say thanks to George Malcolm Walker, our producer. Natalie?
Yes, thank you, Bishop. Remember to like us on Facebook at New Foundation Christian Ministries. Follow us on Instagram at NFCM Official. And also remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel at New Foundation Christian Ministries. Remember to press the bell. Thank you. Goodbye.
All the best. See you next time.